Hey there, friendlies. Welcome to the 27th of January episode of the live stream house. This is the live stream where we got bevies, we got blaze, and we got bushcraft. We sometimes talk about the bushcraft, sometimes we don't. If you are watching us time shifted to tomorrow or next week or whatever, thank you for your ears. Thank you for your eyes. Thank you for the comments you sometimes leave in the doobly-doo. Let me just move around a little bit here because that was weird. If at any point tonight you really love what you're seeing, I invite you to drop me a smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you really kind of hate what you're seeing, that's all right. The frowny thumb works just as well. And if, oh, for land's sakes, if at any point tonight, you stupid light, you want to help keep that light on, as several in the side chat already have, then I invite you to double click the join button, see what tiers are open to you for your hard-earned money, as well as what each tier gets you. That's better, more dramatic. I see a comment about Gen X. That would be me, for sure. So, I want to say hi to everyone who's joined, but tonight's conversation topic is inspired by a conversation I had at work. One of my coworkers is not only in the same borough as me, but he lives about a 6-minute walk from my front door. And he came up to me today because we much of the borough was out of power this weekend, but this weekend was really cold. And he came up and said, "I'm buying a Jenny, man. I'm getting a gas Jenny." So we talked about it because I know I've spoken to you guys about passively thinking that we should probably have a generator for the house as well, for when the power cuts on us when it's really, really cold out. But I don't want to just sort of say, "Honey, let's buy a generator," without doing my research and stuff. And it won't be this year, that's for sure. And so, like, I know that there's a lot of options out there, right? There's dual fuel, there's propane, there's gas, there's different sizes. And some people just have, an extension cord running into the house. Other people have whatever that special socket is on their wall so that they can run certain circuits in the house. I think that what I would want to keep running would be like heat, maybe lights, maybe the modem, but like I don't care about the oven, for instance, right? Because the more stuff you're running, the bigger the Jenny has to be. So anyways, that's what I was thinking of talking about with you guys, because I know that several of you have generators, but you don't all have the same one. I know that I'm not looking to do one of those sort of permanent installs, where it sort of like automatically clicks over and it does, it doesn't move or anything, because there's only so much money in the world. So it'll be something portable, but it doesn't have to be too tiny. So I do want to run. I want to make sure that the house stays warm. Is priority number one. Lights would be nice. Fridge and freezer. So yeah. Before we get into it, I want to sort of scroll on back and see who's kicking back with me. At 8:42, Destiny was first. 8:42 is just about when I set this up, so that was fast. And then right next is Mr. Mark. There's Bluegrass Bigfoot, who is a channel hero. And then after that, we had Mr. Country Boy popping in, who is a channel hero and a channel mod. So be nice. Just sort of saying hi. Mr. Peanut Trucker, how are you doing tonight? Chris, where are you tonight? Actually, Mr. Peanut Trucker is a channel mod. Everyone's saying hi. Whoa, Beto's in good and early. Nice to see you. How are things down in Brazil tonight? How's the weather in Brazil? Chris says still driving, but we'll be listening in. Hey everyone. So where? Oh well, don't feel the need to tell me where you're driving then, because I don't want you tapping on your screen when you're driving. Doopy-doo-doopy-doo-doo. Country boy said, living the dream, Mark. If the dream is working 2 jobs 7 days a week. No. 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 Oh, okay, I get it. Regular job Monday to Friday, work for yourself Saturday and Sunday. Well, the Saturday and Sunday is probably a lot more personally invigorating. Russell popping in and doing the God's good work by reminding you guys to hit that thumbs up. That would warm the cockles of my heart, and everybody likes a nice warm cockle. Am I right? Quote. Number 1 for the evening. Christy Grounds popping in. How you doing? By the way, I forgot to mention that excuse me. No, I'm good. I forgot to mention that Christy is a channel hero and Russell is a channel mod and a channel hero. So many heroes. So many mods. Okay, people's just saying hi. There's Canadian. How you doing, Mr. Canadian? How are things at the Canadian household on this night of nights? I hope they're going well. I know that lately the story has been good and bad. Mark, I'm pretty damn sure it's warmer at where Christy is than at your place in Kentucky. Mr. Steve Grounds, how you doing? Living on the surface of the sun down there in Arizona? You getting by? Okay, well, I mean, that's better than not getting by, right? Christy says, we're going to hit 80 this weekend, 75 tomorrow. What, 75 is like 21? Am I getting that right? Am I in sort of the ballpark? Hey, there's Mr. Paul. Man, I'm so glad you're hanging on my streams, man. Especially if you consider the weird ass way we finally met in person a couple of years. What was that, 3 years ago now? I don't know. I'm not good at that. It's amazing. That was fabulous. Okay, so everybody's saying hi. I just want to make sure I'm not like skipping anyone here. Everyone's saying hi. David Instigator popping in. Hey there, people kind. How are you doing, David? How's the weather? We're talking generators tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you might have to say. Chris is in Joplin, Missouri. Joplin, Missouri. Her vision's slow to come back. Coming back is better than not, though. I mean, at least I don't know. I'm trying to find a bright spot, and probably the wrong thing for me to be doing. But I mean, I'm glad that the news is not worse than it was. That there does seem to be improvement every time we ask you. Slow. Everyone, is Marcus here? Did somebody say hi, Marcus? I do not see Marcus here. Who the heck said hi, Marcus, and got me all like, hey, he's here? Oh, no. Okay, sorry. Destiny was saying, any news from the Marcus? Okay. All is well. I got it. I'm hep. Woo. That was awkward. Destiny saying hi to me. How you doing? Gen X is me. That's me. Country boy saying hi to me. And there's Grace. How you doing? Grace, we're talking generators tonight. You got anything to say about that? My audio is peaking. What if I just whisper? What if it's an ASMR? ASMR stream. David says, Jenner link for the win. I get what you're saying, country boy. I could turn this down. But you guys said last time that it was too quiet. How's that? Am I still peaking or are we good? We good? I think we're good. Christy says the sound is okay, but we're listening through the TV and you're typing on your laptop. I have literally no idea where I put my laptop. I do not know. Homie Omi, how you doing? How's it going, Mr. Omi? I'm pretty sure we got you to 50 subs. Pretty sure we did. Did we? I thought I saw 50 or 51 last time I checked. I've been sort of checking to see. I told everyone in my community to go and check your channel out. So I hope you're above 50. There's a builder guy who has great suggestions for a generator. If I find the link, I'll send it in Discord. Okay. Or you could just drop it in the side chat here. I think it'll let us have the URLs, right? Oh, it's freezing down there. It's been cold up here too. Today it's a balmy -11 to -19. Actually, is that right? Hold on a second here. -10 to -18. Which reminds me, I need to take a picture of that for my journaling later. There it goes. Here we come to save the day. Yeah, so today is actually a little warmer than it's been. We were doing high of -21, low of -25 a couple of days ago. We didn't get great big whacks of snow the way our buddies in Ontario did. We got snow, but nothing like what Russell and them were dealing with. We just got cold. I say cold. What did I just do? I just accidentally closed the right screen. Okay. I thought I'd shut down the live stream playback for a second there. I'm trying to scroll down so that the YouTubes and the app here, whatever it's called, are at about the same thing level. As my girl Fitzy, everybody loves a nice warm cockle. As soon as I said that, I was like, yep. Country Boy's gonna send me some pics of what you've been up to with your satisfying weekend jobs. Almost ready for the family wedding. If I can share those pics, that would be great because I sure like your work, and I think it needs to be seen. But I won't share them unless you tell me I can. And I won't share them until you ping me because I can never remember which telecommunications app we use. Hike with Mike in the house. How are you doing tonight, Mike? Is it freezing? You freezing down there? I was just saying that we're finally at a not quite so cold couple of days. That's hilarious. Three years in July. Amazing how time goes. And like, I would never have recognized you. I don't recognize people, and I don't even think your face ever shows up on your Instagram, does it? But like, I never recognize anyone. Like, I'll see someone and think, that person looks familiar. No, I'm probably mistaken, and I'll just keep walking. So it's a good thing that you that you were like, I know you. Austin in the house. How you doing? We're talking generators tonight. I'm looking for, well, I'm passively looking for suggestions. I can't buy anything this year, but we've been having some power outages, and this weekend it was cold. Um, a lot of people lost power in my neighborhood. It was cold enough that a couple of people died. Yeah. Minus, minus 24, minus 25 with Celsius. I know in some parts of the States, you guys have been deep freezing. So, I don't want to make it sound catastrophic, but if we lose power for a couple of days, I want us to have heat, maybe light. Light might be good. And I want the fridge not to die, the freezer not to die, maybe. I mean, although like those chest freezers, if you leave it closed, you're probably okay for a few days. But the fridge, I'm so tired of losing food. Like a fridge's worth of food every like 6 months right at this point, Yeah, Austin, I see that. Yeah, minus 40 is where the two merge. Hey, good. Mike says Gen X rocks. We were the latchkey kids. We sure were. We sure were. Remember, go outside and don't come home until the street lights come on. Ah, those were the days. Paul says, by the way, I shared your samples with a friend this past weekend and forgot to mention the habanero sample. Oh no. How'd that go over? I have some of that one left. If you want another sample bottle, I can pass you more. It's very. I think it's a great sip, but you got to be ready for it. What I'm drinking tonight is going to be this, because I figured maybe Paul would be here, so he would enjoy seeing it, and maybe he'd have with us. I had 2 drams of it last night while doing my nightly whimsies. Because as you guys know, I just came through dry week, so I figured it would be fitting for my first dram post dry week would be this delicious bottle. It's my first dram. I mean, I did that cocktail live at midnight and a half on Sunday, but different category, I guess. Cocktail lives are something I do kind of to, pal around with you guys and make some drinks that I've never made before. But a dram it's the nightcap. It's sort of I'm relaxing with a drink kind of thing. And so my first dram post dry week was this. So it's an 8. It's an 8, Christy. So at 8 minutes to 10, we pour. What are you drinking, Christy? You're having the it wasn't Jim Beam last time, right? What was it last time? Heck says, we're having a freeze in Florida tonight, so I got to make sure to keep my sink dripping and outdoor faucet dripping to prevent burst pipes. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That is very Canadian of you, because everyone in Montreal knows that. So I'm glad to know that you knew about that. I have paid plumbers for over frozen pipes several times. Because here's the thing: if your pipes just freeze, you don't go at them with like a hairdryer. You have to get a plumber to come with the weird like electrical wire that they stick on. Because if you just go at it with a hairdryer, that's where you could really burst your pipes. I also hope that everyone's doing well. Absolutely. Go ahead. Okay, so you send it on Discord? On the Discord? By the way, everybody notice the way I titled tonight's live stream, because Russell was being a bitch about my BB&B naming scheme. I mean, brat, but he's right. He's right. I do not see pictures yet, Mr. Country Boy. I'm sure they'll come through at some point. Did you make knives for the wedding? That would be cool. But what he made is just as cool. Yeah, you are over 50. And I know that some of these people are part of that. I think we did some good here tonight, this week, people. I'm really happy about that. Really happy. Country Boy made suspenders for the groom and groomsmen. You want me to just show the pics you sent me on the 19th, or are you going to send some more? Some more pictures. I good Mike recognizes voices better than faces. Yeah. So minus 20 Fahrenheit. That seems cold. Yeah. Destiny, I know that millennials have substratas, right? There's elder millennials, and there's, because millennials really do split into two groups, like those who came of age in the first half and those who came, like, because social media sort of divides them. Which side of the Facebook divide, I guess, they came of age on. Russell likes the knives idea. I do not believe we have Harbor Freight. There might is okay. So the Kanakastani is here. Would you say that Princess Auto is like Harbor Freight? Because to a certain extent, I would say like Canadian Tire kind of is, but they're not exactly the same. Oh, you got samples? Okay, we'll meet up. We'll meet up pretty soon then. Let me go through my whiskey and see if I got anything else that I think you would like. I don't have a furnace. We just have baseboard heaters. But like the one of the things I wanted to talk. Hold on a second. Here, I'll show it. So that boutique whiskey company, it's a British independent bottler, and this is Canadian corn whiskey. I want to say it's Alberta Premium, but I'm not sure about that. But I think I heard somewhere that it is from Alberta. Aged 8 years, and I believe finished in a sherry cask. It does look like it was aged in a sherry cask, though, but I don't know enough about that boutique whiskey company to go to the mats over that statement. I'm just taking a look. Scan me. Never chill filter, always natural color. It doesn't say where. Okay. I don't know. Paul's going to know a lot about this bottle, I think. But yeah, so of course it's got a moose on it, right? Homie says, yeah, actually, I was looking into generators. I don't know much about them, except that the quiet ones are more expensive but necessary. I would like something quiet. So what I'm wondering is, is a propane generator quieter than a gas one? First of all, I think I kind of want a propane one. I'm sort of thinking dual fuel, but um, I'm more interested in propane than I am in gasoline. Christy's not drinking tonight. First was because of the. So you've just done a dry week. But if you don't want one, then for God's sakes, don't have one, right? I mean, I don't drink every night. I'd say 90% of the drinking I do is on screen with you guys. David says installing the plug on the furnace is the way to go, except that I don't have a furnace. Russell did it himself on their big house before I really knew anything about electricity. It was easy, and there's usually an outlet right there. I fear electricity ever since I got blown off that ladder when I was 16. David did it before he got the Generalink. So is the Generalink the thing that switches on the generator? Christy does not yet see the pictures. I hold on. Austin says, the reason I ask is Harbor Freight is famous for the Predator brand generators, and they're basically Honda clones. I know several people who want to pick up Hondas for sure. I'm going to check it one more time. One more time. Oh, this is what you made? Wow. Okay. He made a movable bar. Whoops. Oh, I don't know why I'm so weird about showing your name or not. It's on here. You're a country boy trapped in the city. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. You're hired, dude. Get over here. That is so nice. I'm throwing a heart on that. David says Princess Auto is close, but not as good as Harbor Freight. Running baseboard heaters to keep your home warm will require a big ass generator. Well, maybe we can just run the. We have a heat pump. It's just not big enough. We need to replace it, but I mean, it's something. No propane generator, he says. G Straight says if you get a Generalink installed, make sure the generator you buy is compatible. Okay, that's good to know as well. Oh, no, comma. Propane generators are not quieter than gas generators. Okay. Independent bottlers, eh? They like to keep their secrets. All right. 100% Oloroso casks. That means so Oloroso is a kind of sherry. It's a sort of a big free sweet sherry that I can't seem to find here. Like the sherry selection in Quebec seems to be uniformly terrible. I'd like to pick up a bottle of Oloroso, a bottle of Pedro Jimenez, or otherwise called like PX sherry, because those are the two that are the most common types used for sherrying whiskeys. And I'd like to be able to do an episode, obviously on my other channel, of saying, so this is a bottle that is finished or aged in 100% Oloroso sherry casks. Taste it and say, and this is what Oloroso sherry gives you. Probably have the sherry first, actually, and then do the same thing with Pedro Jimenez, because Pedro Jimenez, I believe, is a slightly drier thing. And then there's something else, Fino, I think, that I've almost never come across as a finishing for whiskeys. I think I have seen it before, but it doesn't seem to be quite as common. Austin says, I think it's important to distinguish between a whole home versus something to run a few appliances, major cost differences. So, fridge for sure. Maybe just the heat on the ground floor. Maybe a modem? Maybe not. I don't know. I want the food to not go bad, and I want us to be warm. Lights would be great. Lights would probably also be the lightest load, the least heavy load on the system, you know? But yeah, like I don't want to do the whole home because I don't want to pay that much, and I don't want something that's impossible to move. Destiny likes the bar that Country Boy built, and I do too. Is that for the wedding? Is that generally because an automatic transfer switch that is installed as part of your meter? Oh yes, okay. Yeah, so that as soon as the power goes, it just switches over. Destiny is asking David if can you switch what you want the generator to supply. Like one storm you need the furnace and fridge, next storm you want to supply something else, or is it a hardware thing? I don't think you can switch it like that. Chrissy says, show the pics of the suspenders. Hold on, let me find them. Work. Work. Oh, stop it. I do like a nice set of suspenders. Right, see how they just click onto the belt loops? Really nice. I guess I showed the suspenders. God. Oh, okay. Select the loads you want at your electrical panel. Turn on and off what you want. That is good to know. That is absolutely good to know. Because what I know is that I don't want to just run an extension from the generator into the house. You know, I do want there to be a hookup at the panel. I would consider something like a small generator to run your fridge and some other heating alternatives like kerosene. So the no wood stove, the ban is for burning solids. Okay, so no wood, no charcoal, nothing like that. Except there is there's an exception for pellet stoves. But it seems that the pellet stoves all have like electric ignition. So, it's okay. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree. They look very, very nice. Very, very nice. I'm pretty sure Nesmik probably wore suspenders. And Kephart. That seems like the kind of thing that, you know, to make sure that everything is solid, kept up. I don't remember though. Austin, I do not know. I don't know how much a bag of pellets is. Maybe Canadian Tire has them. Let me see. Canadian Tire. Ugh, stop it. So pellet stove pellets? What? Pellet stove pipe? Nope. Pellet stove pellets. Okay, there we go. So, well, $1,200 for a stove. Liquid pellet, long burning softwood pellet fuel, 8,500 BTUs, 40 pounds, $8. Kennewick, long burning hardwood pellets, 8,700 BTUs, 40 pounds, $8. Vermont Castings, premium hardwood heating pellets, 40 pounds, $8. $8.79 actually. Oof, Vermont Castings, you're getting a little big for your britches there. Vermont Castings firewood, 0.75 cubic feet, $9.79. That's weird. Hardwood smoking pellets, 40 pounds, $30. So yeah. Whoops, let me go back. So yeah, in answer to Austin's question, $8 for 40 pounds, or I guess that would be like, wait, 18 kilos. David has a 10 kilowatt dual fuel generator, which we run 100% on propane. Hey, there's Marcus. How you doing, Mr. Marcus? Marcus, we're talking generators. I'm looking for suggestions. How are you feeling, mister? Austin says that's incredibly affordable. But like, so how long does a 40-pound bag of pellets last, though? Yeah. Oh, you sell them for $9 US for 40-pound bags. Oh, that makes our bags really affordable then, because if you work in the exchange and everything, we're actually getting a real bargain then. Oh, no change yet. That's too bad. It's going to take a while. That I do know. If all I could have is a pellet stove, I would get the pellet stove. Nice to have an alternative heat source. But where would we put it? So there's one for $1,200, 40-pound hopper for it's an 1,800 square foot stove. And then there's high efficiency Wi-Fi pellet stove, 90-pound hopper for a 2,200 square foot house. Why does it have to have Wi-Fi? Russell says, I have a dual fuel generator, but the dang thing won't start on propane. Really? Have to run it on gas for a minute, then switch. Completely defeats the purpose of a remote start. Yeah. That's weird. Oops. Sorry. I meant to do this. Russell, say hi to Alicia from all of us. Christy says, and I back that concept. I mean, look, I don't know if Canadian Tire is the place to buy a pellet stove, right? That price may be out of whack, and they've only got two. So, like, if I was to look at pellet stove Canada, oh, these things get pretty big. Paul, no, I don't know how. I don't know how it went. Why? Do you know anything about it? I mean, it probably went fairly drinkany. Our favorite waitress is leaving, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna be sad to see her gone. But I mean, it's gonna be good to see her gone, but sad. I mean, she's been there like 12 years. You know, she's not in school anymore. She's got a good job. So I mean, and you know, she's thinking about family and stuff. So it's good for her that she's gone, but so there's this place called Comfort Built. Our pellet stoves. Oh, these are Canadian dollars. Okay. 40-pound hopper. just because 40-pound bags. What the hell do I know, right? Boom. So, oh, I see. Like, don't these things need a chimney or something? Look, I'm not going to spend this entire live stream staring at pellet stuff. So we're talking generators here. There was very likely much scotch consumed for sure. 942. Marcus says, few things to keep in mind. Propane is better for units that don't get used much. You do lose some of the output running propane over gas. This thing is only going to get used every few months, right? A couple of times a year, probably. You know, I'm not, which is why I don't want to do gas, because the gas will go bad in between times I've used it in some years for sure. Also, make sure you have one that the neutral is not bonded to the ground if you're using it for your house. Okay. Why? Why does that? I like, what's the, like, I would get one that's on wheels, right? So, propane generators are Deratech. Don't know what that means. Austin, have you considered a solar panel and power station setup? Yeah, I would love it. But for something that's going to, so if I had not unlimited money, but if I was independently wealthy, I would put solar panels on my roof, and I would have batteries, and I'd have an inverter and all that stuff. But the reason that I can't make that pitch to the family is the fact that for what we spend on hydro in Quebec, 15, 20 years to, of to get my money back. I still want to do it because then I don't care if the power goes out, right? I don't care if hydro suddenly is allowed to hike its rates, because Hydro Quebec is a crown corporation, so they're not allowed to make a profit. Like whatever hiccup happens at Hydro Quebec, I don't care. And also, I could sell power back to the grid. But it's a lot of money that I can't say it's going to pay for itself in 5 years, right? And saying it's going to pay for itself in 15 years when I'm 52 becomes a much harder conversation to have, right? David says, propane generators have a slightly lower output in comparison to gas generators. Okay, Marcus says, it's the way the generator is grounded internally. If it's bonded, it provides two paths to neutral, resulting in a hazard and can cause issues with electronics. Good to know. Okay. So if it's bonded, I'll just make sure I know what I'm looking for. I'll just go with what you're saying, and I'll make sure I know what I'm looking for. Tea's a good drink. So, Marcus, do you have a dual fuel? David says, is that only when the generator is directly wired into your house? Okay. Are you saying if it's like a permanent installation, or are you saying that if you have something on wheels, but you've got that special plug that, and the switch at your power box, at your electric panel, what used to be a fuse box, whatever, because I would want to plug the generator into my house rather than run a cable. So is that what we're talking about, or are we talking about when like there's a full-time installation generator, you know, stuck to the house? What do you mean, man? Austin says, check out some of the setups out there. I've seen where people have their critical in-home infrastructure on the solar array and use the grid for lights and everyday appliances. If it's used to only to plug things in, Marcus, if used only to plug things in, then it should be bonded. If used for your house, then it's not bonded, even if it's not permanently connected. Okay. Country Boy says, at $1,200 for a pellet stove, it would pay for itself in less than a year here in Corrupt, BC. Our hydro is $300 to $400 every 2 months. So is that a non-crown corporation then? I like Hydro One in Ontario is probably the pinnacle of gouging. Bonded versus non-bonded. Must keep that in mind. Christy is Country Boy is hydroelectric. Yes, BC Hydro and Hydro Quebec are the power companies. Quebec, and I'm assuming BC, use the term hydro because Quebec has dammed pretty much every major river. That's how we run the province. It's all electrical dams. There are no coal burning plants for electricity here. There are a couple of nuclear plants. I don't know if they're still running actually. The Gentilly. When I was a kid, it was like there were there's Gentilly 1 and Gentilly 2 or some damn thing. I don't know if I'm remembering that properly. Yeah, I'll look it up. Country Boy says it is Crown. Yeah, okay. I thought the BC Hydro was Crown. Christy is on an equalizer plan. You pay $308 every month for your electric. So we're on an equalizer as well, and we pay about $300 every 2 months, I think. Okay, I'll take a look at those. Marcus has a dual fuel generator, but he never uses it because you have a diesel power generator. How big is it? It would be cheaper in the winter because we have gas heat, but then the summer would be close to $700 a month. Wow, that's yikes. David says, make sure to get a generator with an electric start. Oh, so that you're not like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's no way I want to be yanking on a cord. I can't get it to start. Yank harder. The pain. Country says, in this province, we have almost as many hydro dams as there are people. It should be almost free. We give it away to the U.S., but they gouge the residents to cover the loss. Yeah, Quebec also powers the eastern seaboard of the U.S. at, I believe it's at cost or under cost. So we pay more, but the diesel isn't that big. It's only 7,500 watt. Interesting. So what do you power on it? Is it something that you just run a cable to, or is it like hooked into your house when it's running? 2151. Christy, 1 minute while I'm pouring the whiskey. trying to think what, like, how big a 7500 watt is, because that seems, it is actually 952. You're right. You're right. Boo. Corn whiskey. 100% corn whiskey, I believe. They don't say anything on these bottles, Paul. I have something else by the boutique, that boutique whiskey company, but it's still in Calgary, and I don't remember what it is. It will run the house with a cable and a transfer switch. David says, we run all our major appliances on propane, greatly reduced our electrical load. Country Boy is going to try to bottle down his Rito because he wants to open the Bareface. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we're fully electric. I mean, I've had the Bareface before. I had a bottle of it. They've got a couple of different expressions now, but I just had the whatever the regular Bareface is. Is that like a 7-year or something? It was pretty good. Pretty good. So I want an electric start, automatic transfer switch. But the thing is, why would I want an automatic transfer switch? Like, I'm not going to leave this thing out in my backyard so that it gets all weathered and stuff, right? I'll just pull it out of the garage when I need it. So I kind of don't care about the transfer switch. Whiskey. Maybe I'll suggest a pellet stove, like in the living room or something. But like, am I right that they generally have electric starters on these on pellet stoves? I'm just taking a look at anything about these. Oh, they've got a red one. Okay, EPA and CSA are certified for compliance with emission standards. Okay, that's good. Maximum BT output of 26 to 24 per hour, 81% thermal efficiency rating, 25-pound pellet hopper capacity. Okay. 5 adjustable heat settings and programmable thermostat, removable front door handle. I don't care. What I want to know is, doesn't say. Does not say. Because that's the thing. Like, if these things are electric start, then when the power goes out, I don't have the stove, right? Marcus says that, yes, it's manual. It's what the previous owner already had installed. Okay. Russell says that a manual transfer switch is fine. That's what I would have probably with my context. He says, stay away from auto transfer unless you buy the expensive system with an auto start generator. I would not buy I would not use it enough to justify the price, you know? Oh, you got the triple oak. I haven't tried that one. See, the reason I like a wood burning stove is that I start it myself with fire. I'm not like programming. There's no Wi-Fi. There's none of that crap. I start the fire with fire. Flint and steel, ferro rod, matches, and zip cubes in an inch. When we were staying at the cabin a couple of weeks ago, I started that thing with the ferro rod. because I'm tough like that. I'm ferro rod, flint and steel. I am primitive. I'm a caveman. It's getting better as it oxidizes. Happens very often. Um, yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, if I got a 40-pound hopper of pellets, how long does that run? If I've got a full tank on my generator, say I'm using the propane, like, and it's a say 4,000, you know, uh, a 4,000 watt, for instance. I'm just pulling a number out of the ether, or like the 7,500. You know, like, how long does a tank of propane, like a canister of propane, or a tank of gas, go? Like, do you get 24 hours? Like, if I want to say the power's out for 3 days, and I run it for the daytime and turn it off at night, how long does a full fuel container last? You know? David asked a question for, I guess, anyone. Do you need to have a pure sine wave generator or an inverter generator? Holy crap! I didn't know there was such thing as a pure sine wave generator. Okay, so depends on the size of the tank, which makes sense, and depends on your load on the generator, which also makes sense. Because, like, if we're out for 3 days, and I have to remember to stop off at Canadian Tire for more propane on my way home from work for 3 days, fine. If I start the thing at supper time and at 3 a.m. it's out, that's gonna be a problem. How loud are they getting quieter with as the tech gets better or anything like that? Can you buy, like, do they have mufflers on them or something? Yeah, I've seen that tank you have. Yeah. Um, Marcus said that in this context, a pure sine wave is an inverter generator. I am so confused at this point. You guys are making it less clear. There you go. So many more questions. So I will store this thing and its fuel, if and when I get it, in the garage, which is not attached to the house. I don't want to be storing fuel, like propane or a freaking jerry can or something in my house. Hey, Jim, heading home late. See y'all in 30. All right. Drive safe, Jim. Safe home. Speak to you soon. Should you have an inverter generator to protect your electronics? I wish I could answer these questions. I got to do some reading, evidently. Evidently. Destiny says howdy to Jim. Paul, what are you drinking tonight? Are you drinking tonight? I realize I fairly often just sort of assume that everyone's having a drink. Russell, are you having a beverage? You having a beverage? Like, I wish I knew how loud this was going to be, realistically. Because the only generators I've heard in recent history are these big honking things on like work sites, keeping the lights on overnight. You know, Paul poured himself some Irish whiskey, Teeling single pot still, sláinte. Sláinte to you. That stuff is good. I have yet to taste a Teeling that I don't like. Marcus says, yes, they are safer, but not necessarily needed if your generator has a low THD output. You can really go down a confusing rabbit hole with all this. Oh, my land. Okay. Okay. Russell is whiskeying up. Which bottle are you doing? Country Boy says, inverters are either pure sine or not. If your generator doesn't have a built-in inverter, there are a million standalone inverters. Good to know. I'm getting this dismal concept of just how much stuff I'm going to have to look up. I wouldn't worry about noise if all you're planning to use a generator for is power outage. No one will care, and your neighbors might ask for help. Fair. Fair point. Destiny says, all this gen talk reminds me of when Dolly Parton was young and they got frozen into the house. Freaking scary. I didn't even know about that. And Russell says that pure sine is rarely worth the extra money. So, like, if I wanted to look at a bunch of generators, like, am I just walking into like Home Hardware or Home Depot or something? Or like, are there specialist shops that I should be looking at? Because if I look at generator at Canadian Tire, what do I got? Inverter generators. Briggs and Stratton 3500 / 4375 watt inverter generator. For $3,000, there's a Champion open frame dual fuel inverter generator, 7,000 watt / 8,500 watt. Why? Why is it a certain watt and then another watts? Why? Here's a 4,000 watt / 5,500 watt for $1,200 by Champion. Good old Champion, eh? Greenworks, 60 volt, 300 watt power inverter tool only. What? I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. Destiny's asking the important questions. What kind of generator does the Ray have? I bet he has a big ass one. He probably does. David says, we have a Champion generator. Never had an issue with it. Great customer service. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. So this one here for $3,000, that's a 7,000 / 8,500 watt dual fuel. I like that. Very happy about that. I wonder how a dual fuel works. Like, what makes something dual fuel versus only gas or only propane? Like, is there something in the motor that's different? Or is it just like the apparatus around it for, fuel, injecting fuel into the system? Apparently, Country Boy says pure sine is much cleaner power. If you're planning to power electronics, it is worth the extra cost, in my opinion. So I guess if I wanted to plug in my computer and my modem, then pure sine might be the way to go. David says that Ray's generator size is proportional to his calf size. Good to know. I did not know that. Hey, there's Shawnee. The numbers are running and surge. How you doing? How you doing, Shawnee? How's the weather down there? Do you have a generator? Oh, the numbers are running and surge. Okay, okay. Or rated and continuous. All right. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. So Shawnee, pops in with, dropping the knowledge. Okay. So I guess she does have one. Everyone's just saying hi. Destiny says calf size matters. Okay, good to know. Oh my snap, look who's here, Darth Vader. I have not seen you in a minute. I'm glad to know you're still kicking around. How are things? How's the weather where you are on this night of nights? It's the carburetor that's different. Okay. I like the idea of the dual fuel, I gotta tell you, because then, if like there's a run on propane, then I'll just get gas, Yeah, country boy. I said the same thing. On my land. Darth in the house. Shawnee says, took a lot of messing around to finally get our dual fuel generator to take the propane. We have it for fridge and freezer. We have a solar battery bank for lights in the house. I still maintain that I would love a solar battery bank. But So Darth, do you have a generator? That's what we're talking about tonight, because my neighborhood just dealt with a pretty crazy power outage during probably the coldest weekend we've had this year. I think it's the coldest weekend we've had this year. What do you think, Paul? Like, we had a couple of days where it was like minus 21 to minus 25 kind of thing. And I don't think we've had anything worse than that this year. David, I just checked the THD on our generator. It's 5% versus pure sine wave generator at 3%. Does not seem worth the 2% difference. Good to know. Oh my snappy. 8, sometimes 9 acres is fashionably late and fabulous. Nice to see you. Shawnee says, we have a propane cooktop and then a Mr. Buddy that you can hook up a propane tank to. So it's a lot of messing around. Mr. Buddy is that little tiny stove, isn't it? Is that what it is? Chris says, oops. Didn't make it fire. Oh, fan clutch came loose, rubbed the fan on the shroud and broke the belt. Got my generator going for heat. Oh my snap. Okay. So what happens now? I keep telling you, Jess, check out EcoFlow battery banks or Jackery. Yeah, but to power my house? I mean, I do like me some EcoFlow magic, or or some Jackery, or what's that other one? There's another one I was looking at, but I've really only looked at those for more like, I have this idea that I would like to do, is to put panels on my garage and turn it into my workshop. And so I'm not running the power tools off the household current, because as it is in that garage, if I'm running a belt sander, like a benchtop belt sander, and I turn on a like a pillar drill, I knock out the solarium and the kitchen lights. So what I would love to do is solarize the garage, to take that, to turn it into a self-contained little workshop. I have a vision in my head. Must win the lottery. Second, as like a excuse me. Oh no. First yawn. Did he break the seal? Maybe not. Second, as a proof of concept that I can then show the household. It's like, look, here are my numbers. I know it's expensive, and I know we won't make the money back necessarily for a long time. But look at how sexy my garage is. You know what I'm saying? But like, look, throwing solar panels on my roof is going to be a lot more expensive than buying a generator and installing a plug so that it'll run our heat. You know what I'm saying? Shawnee says, out at the garden property, we have a switch on the power pole. We flip down. Then wheel out a gas generator and plug it into the power pole. Then we can run almost anything. Okay, that's good to know. Paul says, yes, it was definitely the coldest weekend out of this year. Yeah. Darth has a small generator, still new in box. Haven't had a need to open it yet. Because there's a couple of people at work who are starting to talk about, listen, man, we need generators. Because this latest power outage, it was due to an out of date power station that isn't slated for replacement for several years yet. So we're going to lose the power again next time it gets this cold. Paint Trucker says, wait on service. I wait on a service truck and half your trailer lights are out too. Salt, oh, has eaten through your wiring already. Salt will eat through anything. Blue Eddy for the win. Right. Blue Eddy. Chris has got heat and food. What else do you need, right? Heat, food, and Jesse's live stream. Once you got all three of these things, perfect night. Country Boy says that EcoFlow has some amazing systems that can power the home essentials. Shani says my solar battery bank is oops. What? What does oops? Country Boy says, and relatively speaking, they're not that expensive if your goal is solar instead of fossil fuel. That would be ideal. David says, I want a portable power station for when I'm working at the dock, so I don't have to run 200 feet of extension cords. So here's the thing, like, you know that that power station that I did the review of, and then I didn't plug it in for a year, and so the battery inside it is dead. What if it's just like a cell that's dead? What if I can replace that? Like, I don't know what that would entail. And I tried going to their website, but I mean, it's one of these sort of, Amazon Chinese brand kind of thing. So there's not a whole lot of info about replacing the batteries inside on their website. But because if I can replace those batteries and give myself a reminder to plug in and recharge all of my rechargeable stuff every 3 months, like say this, which I still haven't bought another one of because it takes me forever to get around to anything. Like every 3 months, I charge everything up because I keep losing stuff. Like the battery pack for my telescope will not power back up, because I let that go dry for way too long. We have a battery pack, like a jump start for our car. Battery went dead for too long. So it's like what I need to do is replace all this stuff. It's only money. And then like every 3 months or whatever, charge everything. Like iCal says, it's charging day, and plug everything in. Right? And just keep having an automatic reminder come up every quarter or whatever would be ideal. Because I have a lot of kind of fancy battery stuff that does not work. So you've got a small portable battery, 100-watt solar panel, and a buddy propane heater for emergencies. That's a pretty nice little setup, actually. Shine says it feels like -8 Fahrenheit, so it's actually pretty warm compared to the -40 it was. Just a lot of wind. No new snow yet. We didn't get nearly the snow that we were expecting. I mean, we got snow. I did some shoveling, let me tell you. But, I was expecting like 25 centimeters, and I think it was much more like 10, maybe 15 kind of thing. But it cold. Serge would love to build a garage with a full array on the roof to supply something like 60 to 80 kilowatt hours and totally be off grid. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Apparently, Sean, Alaska has an oops power station. Am I mispronouncing that? Because that seems like a weird, you know. Uh, Meanwhile, I go into 12C when I arrive today. I need a thermal pump. We have a heat pump, but it's too small for our house. Sean says you have to use the batteries and charge them right. Otherwise, it's very expensive. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I know that. But what I mean is, it's practical. The one I have is kind of an almost no-name brand, you know. Disney says, maybe in addition to the next Lantern Live, maybe get Marcus, David, and Russell on a generator live. They are great teachers and explainers. They can make it simple for all of us to get. I actually love that idea. And I know that Russell's great at just, yeah, of course I'll come on. Again, though, I'm gonna have to wait until Marcus is up to it, because right now he's a little under the weather. But yeah, I love that idea. In fact, I'm gonna write that down. Right the hell now. Where's my notes app? Nope, 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 nope. Yes. You know what? I'll just start a new note. Okay, so lanterns, right? That will be David and Marcus when Marcus is back in action. Generators. That'll be Russell, David, and Marcus. I mean, I realize I'm voluntelling these people. I will discuss with the people we're talking about here and see if they're willing to come on to talk about these things. My spelling is embarrassing. Let me just fix some of this shite. Generators. What else do you guys want to see? Like, I don't remember who that was who I pinged weeks ago now and never got a reply. I'm not angry about it, as I said. I mean, he's a much bigger than I am, so I'm unsurprised, and I don't hold it against him. Oh, YouTube creators, the clock is ticking on football season. Shut up. Touchdown alert. Yeah, no, hmm? No, I don't see a reply. I do not see a reply. There is no simplicity when it comes to generators or power stations. Everyone has their own opinion based on their personal needs. My personal needs are pretty clear. I would like to have a power station to bring with me to the woods, so I can run my CPAP or whatever, and just sort of like power it up all day. I mean, plug it in before you go and top it up as needed. But like, the justifiable purchase is something that will keep us from freezing to death if the power kicks out on us for like 3 days, the way it did for some people this time or this past weekend. Russell says solar and batteries. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. David says, what about a Tesla wall? I do not give money to fascist pigs. Although, look, a Tesla wall is sexy as hell. I get it, but nope. Not while that guy's still alive. Alive. I meant not while he was still, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. And the tech looks really cool too. But, I also think that Russell's got a well thought out system for sure. It's a lot of money, right? Panels are coming down, batteries are coming down, inverters seem to, or the control system, whatever it's called, I forget now. They don't seem to be coming down in price all that fast. That seems to be where the big money goes. But if I could afford to throw solar on the roof and and have a row of batteries down here in the basement, I would do it in a Montreal minute. Destiny says, you're right, country boy. Seen so many setups and they're each very personalized. We have some oldie goldie setups in our neighborhood of primarily 1970s homes. Yeah, it's come a long way since then, for sure. A Tesla wall is sexy as hell, quote unquote number 2. They are. I mean, the design on them is cool. They seem to be good batteries. It's not the only option out there, though, Seth says, if I ever buy another battery on my car, I'll keep the old one to repurpose as a Tesla wall, unless it's beyond repair. David says, lithium phosphate batteries for the win. Why? Why? Like, what do they bring? Oops is a brand name. Yeah, but am I pronouncing it right? Is it Oops or is it Upes? Because right now it looks like something you say when you drop a plate. Why are lithium phosphate batteries for the win? And how expensive is that comparatively? Know what I'm saying? Just give me one little second here. Okay. Sorry, I was just distracted by something there. David says, I keep saying it. I wish I went solar when I built in 2011. I mean, it's never too late. It's just... Exactly. Oops, I'm out of power. Oh, my land. It's already 10:25. What is up with that? What is up with that? You think it's Opes? It's pronounced Opes. Okay. I'm going to have to look this up. I'm going to have to look this up. Oops. Oops. I ran out of power. David says, Lipo 4 versus AGM versus lead acid. They're more versatile, better in the cold, can be drawn down, lower, etc. I would love... You know what bugs me about batteries? I'm going to tell you. The methodology... Oh, that's a terrible word. I don't like that word. The fact that you have to be careful, like when and for how long you plug in these batteries, right? Because of the whole memory and all that stuff, let it go down to like 20% or lower and then power it up to 80%. And Fuck, man. Just create a battery that, oh, it's 2%. I'll plug it in 100%. Fine. Oh, this time I did like 20 to 60% because I was in a hurry, and I did 20 to 40%. Make it so that the battery does not care. That powering from 20 to 60 a few times doesn't affect anything. That's what I want. That's what I want in a battery. Even if the battery does not last as long as that battery right there does. Right? The overall longevity of the battery will mean more to me than the day-to-day. Like, oh, this battery only lasts 12 hours instead of 3 days kind of thing. You know? And they're much lighter weight. Like, oops, I don't need it. Jeez, Seb's is on a tear tonight. Choose oops. Choose oops for any power outage. Oh, they've got members. Oh, they've got some. They got some solutions. Oh, they got some stuff on the affordable side too. Okay. I gotta find out how it's pronounced though. Lipo are by far the most versatile. Good to know. Destiny says, I need the generator is a big box with strings / wires coming out of explanation lecture. You know, very simplified. When we do that live stream with the panel discussion that the guys didn't know they were going to be doing until tonight, we'll go into that. But no, you guys who are on the solar side, yeah, I would way prefer to do solar. I would prefer it if I could do solar with heated solar panels so that I didn't have to worry about snow buildup during the winter, though. Right? David says unto Destiny to go to YouTube. Lots of excellent videos that explain solar generators and everything. YouTube University for the win. I back that. I check out stuff on YouTube all the time when I'm trying to figure out how to do something. I must know how to pronounce oops. Military discount, 5% for military and first responders. Why does everybody do that? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, are U.S. military and first responders not paid enough or something that they need all these discounts? Unlock volume-based discounts. Sign up to unlock exclusive member rewards. Anyway, what else? Destiny says, yeah, I'll check it. I just like your way of explaining it. Just saying. Lulz. Yeah, I get that. I understand you, and I would like to add that I'd like some cheese. Cheese. Yeah. Anyway, got a lot to look into. Really, it's funny because I was talking about solar panels today with my buddy who's like, I'm getting a generator. I don't care. Does anyone know if they do make solar panels that are heated, like for northern climes? That would be worth an upcharge for me. Country says it's cheese o'clock. Yeah, it kind of is. I'm trying to drink this as slowly as possible because if I don't, I might have to pour myself another gram. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to get through this bottle too quickly. Or if I do pour myself another wee dram, it'll be a wee small one. Just a tiny. Found out, by the way, speaking of scotch, there's a link. There's a link, but I'll tell you later. Found out that one of the gigs we do every summer in Alberta, in August, there's this gig at the Calgary Polo Club, It's a charity gig for like an organization that deals with conjugal violence. They're doing it in June this time, so I'm not going to be able to do that gig as part of our tour, which makes me sad because it means now we have to find another gig, because the fewer gigs we do, the more expensive that plane ticket is. But also, we liked doing the gig. I thought it was fun. And I finally have a hat fancy enough. Hold on a second. No, I'm not stepping off screen just to go and get a hat. Come on, just watch. David says, I think I would have a ground mount solar panels instead of on the roof. I don't have room. I don't have room. Seb says, apparently one of the best ways to install solar panels is vertical, and the snow doesn't accumulate. But how that? Don't you want it to face the sun? Country West says there are heated solar panels. Whether they're efficient or what the cost is up to the individual. My roof is, excuse me, too epic for me to get up on to clear it off. I do have a long kind of de-snowing thing. I think Russell has one as well, so maybe it's not that big a deal. Waiting for Russell to chime in. Vertical? Why? Like it doesn't. Don't they need to sort of kind of face the sun? I mean, I know that solar panels are way different than they were even like 10 years ago, but like there are flexible ones now, so that if you have, say, a sailboat, you can put them on the bimini or something, and they sort of follow the. I'm asking the same question. Where's Russell? He's our solar expert. Where did he go? Country Boy says he disappeared. I know, but I don't know where he's gone. And we need his knowledge. We need his mind. I'm just seeing. Where is Russell? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I cannot tell you based on the Discord. Russell is here. That's because Country Boy said we need Ray. We were talking about solar panel installation. I was saying that I would love to install solar panels, but I would love to know if there's like heated solar panels, so I'm not, using that long shovel thing to try and get the snow off all winter. I'm looking for Seth said he heard that one of the best ways to install solar panels is vertical, so that the snow doesn't accumulate. Now, David says solar panels need to be inclined steeper in the summer and flatter in the winter, which I guess kind of makes sense, although I would expect them to be flatter in summer and steeper in winter because of where the sun is in the sky. But I don't know. Of course, Destiny says, oh yes, we need Ray to make a cameo appearance on the Generator Live. Okay, so it says read that vertical installation efficiency often exceeding 80% at high latitudes. Okay, according to research. I'm guessing that's because of where the sun is vis-a-vis the northern hemisphere in winter. Maybe. Mayhaps. And then David is asking Russell, what's better, ground versus roof mounted solar panels? And then Destiny is be right backing. Russell says there are probably heated panels out there, but it's usually not worth the energy to heat them. Okay. So just scoop off all that snow on the regular before it gets compacted and hard. Russell says, onto David, I would go with ground mount if you have the space and sun access. Easier to clean in the winter. I don't have the... And I'm on a major boulevard, so I don't trust the youngins around here not to kick them in at like 3 a.m. because they've done everything else to my lawn and my, Serge says, I'm close to 48 degrees. I don't know if that's considered high latitude. It's relatively high. Except that most of the country starts at 49, right? I mean, geographically speaking, not population-wise. Russell says, I think probably the best mount is a manually / seasonally adjusted one, so you can make them very vertical in winter, flatten them out for summer. I just have this image of myself pitching off my roof because it's too steep for me. Oh, Russell says, the general rule of thumb is to mount them at an angle that is equal to your latitude. That is interesting. So what is my latitude here in Montreal? I see the logic of that, though. Montreal's latitude is approximately 45.5 degrees north, based on multiple sources, including geographic databases and mapping services. This places Montreal in the mid-northern latitudes, roughly halfway between the equator and the North Pole. Of course, because 50 degrees would be directly between. That is very interesting, and I don't know why I didn't think at all. David asks unto Russell, how do you determine if you have a good sun exposure for solar? Is there a tool that can be used to determine how much sun you get in a typical day? And Russell says, yes, David, I have the tool. I can bring it next time I come over. Every man is always packing this tool. Ah, shut up, Jesse. Serge says Montreal is about 45 degrees. Is that degrees Canadian? Don't even react. It's not worth it. This was supposed to be a discussion about generators. How the hell did we get on solar panels? I mean, solar panels are cooler, in my opinion. So Country Boy says, if you have too much money, there are arrays that are GPS controlled to maximize exposure. Again, the power required to do this is not always worth the cost. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Even if I suddenly won 30 mil, I wouldn't go that far. Because also, there's a blue spruce outside. Like the neighbors have a blue spruce. So for sections of the day, there's going to be shadow, right? And that will weigh out. I was going to say outshine, but that will overshadow anything I may do about like adjusting the panels. So, Russell says, I shall show David my tool, then use it on his home. Good. David says that solar power and generators go hand in hand. That is true. That is very true. The vast majority of the people I know who have solar also have a generator. Yes, that is true. I was just like, Yeah, and then I was like, well, maybe it's just the off-gridders, but no, most of the ones I know who have one have the other as well. No, who have solar have a generator as well. The other way is not necessarily. Serge says that generators are 20th century tech, solar and wind is 21st century. I absolutely agree. That's why what I would love if I could have my dream power setup, it would be absolutely solar panels and then um, little helix um, wind, whatever they're called, the things that turn. Turbines, combines. No, combines are on farms. Turbines are in the air. Little helix things, you know. Is anyone still doing those? Because there were a couple of companies 20 years ago that were making little helix ones because they turn in the lowest breeze, but I think they're gone. Helix wind turbine. Again, the Gorlov helical turbine. Oh, that's a water turbine. The Helix 3.0 convincing vertical wind power. Helix Wind Corp. Insights into the left side turbine. Nominal power 3 kilowatt hours at 15 meters per second. Annual yield approximately 3,000 kilowatt hours. It's a German site, so the comma versus period thing is a little confusing. But how much is it costing? Was kostet der Turbine? They're not going to have prices on here. Russell says that I think that converting sun rays into power so I can play Minecraft is the coolest thing ever. I agree. I would not have put it that way, but I do agree. I think you're absolutely right. Country Boy says power generation is power generation. How you do it is both cost efficiency and personal preference. David says that sounds great, Russell. I can't wait to see your tool. So we're still there. I see. Products. Okay, so they got vertical wind power and horizontal. Horizontal. If anyone's interested, their phone is 4989-1892-8354. We are a manufacturer of small wind turbines. Yeah, but these are bigger than I was thinking though. The companies I saw back in the 90s were house-sized little wind turbines that you could just what I would love it if someone would come up with poles with kind of some sort of ribbons hanging off of them that move in the wind in the slightest breeze and create power. Something like that. 8 Acres says 3 kilowatt wind turbine. 3 kilowatt hour wind turbine. I'd need 4 just to charge my car. Yeah, I don't know what the Hold on. Oh, they also have a solar and wind power set up. It's not a 3 kilowatt hour. It's 3 kilowatts at 16 m/s. I figured that was the wind moving at 16 meters per second, but I don't know. Annual yield is approximately 2,500 kilowatts. Yeah, the diameter is 2.2 meters and the height is 4 meters. That's bigger than the other ones I was thinking about. Yeah, I don't know how it works. David says Is Minecraft a multiplayer game? I don't think so. Raspberry says, can you mount 4 of them on your car? Then when you drive, they can charge your car at the same time. I'm gunning for no. Gunning for no. 14 minutes left of this fabulous talk. My peoples. My peoples. Come on, scroll. Perpetual power. Russell says, yes. You want to play with me? No, he just wants to see your tool, dude. I think there's a lot of untapped potential in wind. But that untapped potential is in the area where there's just a slight breeze going. Like small units that maybe only do a tiny amount of power, but like say overnight when your solar panels are dormant because it's dark out, but the wind picks up, like I think there's value there. I want to see somebody do that, create that value. And then I will win the lottery and create a cocktail of power sources for my home. The wind, the solar, the generator, but just for emergencies. David wants both. He wants to play with Russell and see his tool. It's not awkward at all. See, it says that wind power blows. Fair enough. I shall drink some water. Russell says, new channel name, men playing with their tools. Would that be like a home hardware kind of thing? Helix wind turbine. Windturbine.com, global marketplace. Helix Wind Corp. Well, wind farms, wind turbines. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking at. Fool. Serge says, I'm sure I can build a life-size version of Russell's tool in Minecraft. You guys. Ray likes playing Minecraft. I've been trying to get him back into it. I have never played Minecraft. Never once. Have not done it. Crazy that there's only 10 minutes left of this live. It feels like it's just gone like so fast. Now, between me starting this live and now, we've gone from 24 people watching to 17. Oh, 18 all of a sudden. So maybe I think it's been going great, but not everyone agrees. Maybe it says that actually wind power sucks. Whether it sucks or it blows, it's still going to power something, right? Is the whiskey she is finished? Is the tea finished? No, the tea's not finished. The tea's not finished. I'm so glad I've got this little heating plate for my tea. I know that I need a solution for when the power goes out again. And look, if the power goes out for a couple of hours, who cares, right? Doesn't matter. Fridge is going to be fine. Freezer's going to be fine. Oh, it's dark and we have to live with all these romantic candles everywhere and lanterns. But if it goes out for 3 days, that's irritating, Especially because the kids are going to just crawl the walls. Russell says, why am I even? I shall bypass the rest of the tool discussion. David says wind power is very inefficient in comparison to solar, but I don't care. Like I wouldn't use wind instead of solar. I would add it for, if there's a breeze at night, there's like just a little bit of a trickle, so that there's always something coming into the batteries. The wind is up in the sky. Ray says, unless I can get a turbine up to 80 feet, it ain't going to do much. Well, most turbines are too big to do anything down around ground level. That's why these horizontal helix ones that I saw, thing is, if the venture capital doesn't come, it doesn't matter how good your invention is. Sal says, petroleum-based candles? I don't know. They're wax. They're wax. Yeah, it's weird. Like, oh, there's an instructable? Yes, instructable. Whoa, when did instructables become an Autodesk thing? Horizontal double helix wind turbine. 100% green electricity. Yeah, I don't care. I want to know like how. So it's a long pipe with an interior diameter no smaller than 3 inches. The bigger the interior diameter of the pipe, the better. 8 bolts or screws, whatever. I strongly advise you to use a pipe larger than 3 inches in diameter. Okay, but I want to know how it works, dude. I mean, instructables are pretty cool, but you do end up with some homemade ass looking stuff. Russell believes that anything other than the classic wind turbine is snake oil. It's a philosophy. Country Boy says large wind turbines are not green power. The amount of petroleum required to lubricate them negates the green right out of them. I would say that they're better than a coal power plant. Maybe not better than nuclear, but we do tend to be kind of queasy about nuclear. But I'm perfectly willing to entertain the fact that a lot of these helix things failed because they just didn't bear out the theories behind them, for sure. For sure. But there has to be a way to make something that produces power in a slight breeze. Because technically, efficiency is the trick, right? But technically, if you can have anything that moves in a breeze and you do it right, it can be creating power. Will it be creating enough power to justify the price of the product? Serge says there's a wind farm about 6 to 8 clicks away from your place. That does not surprise me. Maybe you should steal one. Yeah, go for it. Russell doubts that a 3 megawatt or whatever is using that much. Yeah, no. I think that they're better than a coal, a fossil fuel burning plant for sure. Look, manufacturing is not a green thing. We're getting kind of close to being political here, so I want to shy away from that for the last 4 minutes. But manufacturing product is not green, which is why I believe, like, if you have a gas burning car, an internal combustion engine car that's 8 years old, trading that in for a Prius or Prius or a plug-in hybrid or an electric is only the greener choice if the car is nearing the end of its life, because there's a lot of crap that goes into manufacturing a car, no matter what the power plant is, right? So if you have a car that is getting up there, running it into the ground and then replacing it is a greener choice than just replacing it because you want to be green and running on electricity, for sure. Which is why we're still running an internal combustion engine car. But when the time comes that you have to replace a car or a power source for your home or whatever, that's when you can start to look at what the options are out there. And, in cases like that, like if our car was done, if the car sitting out there was like done, we would probably replace it with like a plug-in, probably the plug-in RAV4. If I had my druthers. But while the car is still running fine, putting a car into the whatever that thing is called, the crusher or the landfill or whatever, just so you can run on batteries is not a green choice. So like, yeah, there's a lot of nuance in this. David says that nuclear is the only option to replace fossil generated power. It's a philosophy as well. Oh yeah, okay. So Chris is off to the shop, as I can well imagine. I hope that all ends up well, quickie Frisco for you. But yeah, see you next week. Uranium is also a fossil fuel. That's a good point. It lasts pretty long though. Stell says that nuclear takes too long to build. Oh, sorry. Russell meant it is non-renewable. It does last pretty long compared to burning coal, though, for sure. Pox? Okay, everyone's just saying good night. Oh, we've only got like a minute left. Jim is back for the last minute. Look across our bay, 25 miles away. At night, you can see the red lights flashing on hundreds of wind turbines. Not a fan. Yeah, a lot of people aren't a fan. I like them. No, wait. I like current wind farms. I really hate the old ones because, like, the old ones that were like this grid of fans, the number of birds taken out by those is crazy. But I'm fine with the ones that we have now. I don't think that they uglify the landscape at all. I think the British do it better than us because they've got them out in the ocean. But they also have like tidal power generation. These things that like move with the waves. Yes. Yeah, but anyways, lots of oil and lubricant. Insert mom joke here. Why? But yeah, as Fitzy says, oh piss. Hold on. As Fitzy says, bonsoir tout le monde. Thank you, Jess, for tonight's live. Very interesting. Bisous. Yes. Good night to everyone. We are at 2300 or 11 o'clock p.m. So we're going to shut her down. I have much to think about. If anyone has other thoughts, feel free to ping me. If anyone wants a part 2 of this conversation, make it known. You can go to the community part of my YouTube page, I think. No matter what, between now and next week, everybody please be safe, be sane, be healthy, and be kind to one another. Good night, folks.